So India is in the middle of this massive overhaul of its healthcare system. But here's the thing, it's not happening in hospitals or clinics. Nope, it's starting in the classroom. We're about to break down a brand new national blueprint for healthcare education, a plan that's designed to create a new gold standard for medical professionals all across the country.
And really, this quote right here from Union Health Secretary Punya Salila Srivastava says it all. She says this move will set a benchmark for the quality of healthcare professionals. That's a pretty bold claim. So what's really going on here?
All right, so let's zoom out and take a look at the big picture. A whole new healthcare blueprint for the entire nation.
So here's the deal. Back in April of 2025, India's health ministry, along with a key national group, launched a brand new, standardized curriculum. But here's the twist. This isn't for doctors and nurses, it's for another group of professionals who are just as critical to your health.
We're talking about allied healthcare professionals. Now, who are they exactly? Well, think of them as the skilled experts who are absolutely essential for patient care, but they aren't doctors or nurses. You know, the physiotherapists who get you back on your feet, the radiographers taking your x-rays, the dialysis technicians who are literally managing life-saving treatments. These folks, they're the backbone of any modern medical. Now, the organization spearheading all of this is the National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Professions, or NCAHP for short. They were set up back in 2021, and they're basically the central authority in charge of setting and maintaining these new, super high standards for education across the entire country.
Okay, so that brings up a pretty big question. Why this huge push for standardization? And why right now?
You know, for years, the quality of education for these professions was kind of all over the map. It could vary wildly from one college to the next. This new system, it's here to fix that. The goal is super simple: uniformity. It ensures that every single professional, whether they're trained in a huge city or a small town, meets the exact same high national standard. Period.
And listen, this didn't just happen overnight. This has been in the works for a while. The groundwork was laid way back in 2021 with the NCAHP HAPT. Then, in 2025, the new curriculum officially launched. But the real date to circle on your calendar is 2026. That's when it becomes mandatory for everybody. It's a really well-thought-out, phased rollout.
Okay, so all this theory is great, right? But what does it actually look like inside the classroom? Let's dive in and take a closer look. To really get our heads around this, we're going to zoom in on one specific program, the Masters in Medical Radiology and Imaging Technology, or MMRIT. By digging into the new rules for this one degree, we can see the real-world impact of this whole national blueprint.
And wow, the new rules are no joke. To offer this master's degree, a college can't just be a standalone place anymore. It has to be affiliated with a full-fledged medical college and hospital. And the infrastructure they need, we're talking multiple classrooms, a library that's at least 2,000 square feet, a big auditorium. I mean, they've set the bar incredibly high.
And this is where it gets really interesting, especially for the students. It's not just about textbooks anymore, not by a long shot. Colleges are now required to have all this advanced high-tech equipment right there on site. We're talking multi-slice CT scanners, MRI machines, mammography equipment. It means students get to train on the exact same gear they'll be using in their actual careers.
And it's not just about the buildings and the fancy machines. Get this, the new rules specify the exact number of teachers they need. For a class of just 10 students, an institution needs a full professor, 2 associate professors, 4 assistant professors, and 8 demonstrators. That's a huge faculty-to-student ratio. It guarantees you're getting expert instruction. So what's the journey like for a student now? Well, it's incredibly structured. First, you've got to pass a national entrance exam, something like the NEET. Then you're in for a tough 2-year program. And a huge piece of this is writing and defending a dissertation. We're talking up to 100 pages. It's a really comprehensive path, from the day you get in to the day you graduate. And if you're thinking about skipping class, think again. The new standard requires a minimum of 80% attendance. And that's not just for theory lectures, it's for practical classes too, and they're counted separately. So yeah, there's absolutely no room for cutting corners.
All right, so let's zoom back out. We've seen the nitty-gritty for one program, but what does this all mean for the future of healthcare in India? What's the broader impact here?
What we're really seeing here is a tale of 2 systems. We're moving away from that old fragmented system with inconsistent training, a total patchwork of different curricula, really. And we're moving towards a new unified national standard, a single competency-based framework that guarantees a high benchmark for quality no matter where you go.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you? Well, the takeaways are pretty clear.
For patients, it means a higher, more reliable quality of care and much better safety. Why? Because you can trust that the professional treating you has met this tough national standard. For students, it means clearer career paths and a degree that actually means something all across the country. And for India as a whole, it's about building a much more robust, reliable, and skilled healthcare workforce for the future. And that really brings us to our final thought. Now that education is being standardized to this incredible level of excellence, it just makes you wonder, what's the next frontier for India's allied health professionals? With this solid foundation, what new heights can they actually reach?